Welcome to the Unleash Your Inner Radiance podcast with your host, Lisa Dorn. Unleash, 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 unleash your inner radiance.
Welcome back to Unleash Your Inner Radiance. I'm Lisa, your life wellness and transformation coach. Last episode, we talked about something that clearly struck a chord with so many of you. The idea that nobody is supposed to understand your calling because it wasn't a conference call. That was a funny one, right? And judging by the messages I received after that episode, a lot of you felt seen. And that makes me so happy. But today, I want to talk about something that comes right after that realization. Because once you accept your calling is personal, another question shows up. And it's a big one. Now what? You feel the pull. You know something inside of you is shifting, but you don't always know the next move. Today, we're talking about what happens after the calling, how to trust it, how to follow it, and how to keep moving forward when your path isn't clear. Take a breath and let's talk about it. The truth about callings that nobody talks about because they don't, right? Here's the part that people don't say out loud. Callings rarely arrive with instructions. There's no step-by-step manual. There's no 5-year plan. There's no guaranteed outcome. Instead, it often looks like this. A thought that you can't shake. A direction that keeps pulling you. A feeling that your life is meant for something more. You try to ignore it. You stay busy. You tell yourself you're fine. But it keeps coming back. Because callings are persistent. They whisper, they nudge. And eventually, they refuse to be ignored. So why does your calling feel so uncomfortable? Most people expect a calling to feel exciting and something like it's a magic, right? And sometimes it does. But more often, it feels uncomfortable because callings usually ask you to leave something behind, like your old beliefs, your old environments, your old versions of yourself. And that's not easy because growth requires release. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you felt yourself outgrowing something? A job, a friendship, a mindset, a pattern. That discomfort isn't failure. It's transition. And your life is trying to evolve. So that's the moment that you realize you can't really go back. And there's a moment many women experience. That is the moment you're like, I have to do this. I can't go back, right? And once that happens, everything changes. It's the moment you realize you can't go back to who you were. You can try, you can pretend, you can stay where it's familiar, but something inside you knows the truth. The old version of you no longer fits. And that realization can really feel scary, but it's also so powerful. Because it means you're waking up to the next version of yourself. And that takes courage to take that next step. So here's where many women, many people get stuck. They wait for clarity before they make a move. But clarity rarely comes before action. You need action to get clarity. Because clarity comes from movement. So you have to take a step. And then the next step becomes visible. And you make a direction and you make a decision in that direction. And the next opportunity appears. Your calling doesn't require perfection. Because like I've talked in other episodes, perfection is not a good thing, right? It requires courage. It requires small courage, quiet courage, the courage to try, the courage to trust, and the courage to listen to that little voice inside of you. So what happens when you ignore your calling? If you don't listen to that little voice inside of you? Let's be honest. Ignoring a calling doesn't make it disappear. It just turns it into something else, like restlessness, frustration, a feeling that something in your life is missing. Have you ever felt that? Felt that deep in your gut? Because everything looks fine on the outside, but something inside of you feels unsettled. And that is often the voice of your purpose asking for attention. And the longer you ignored it, and the longer you do ignore it, it gets louder and louder and louder. So I need you to trust yourself again. Following a calling requires one thing many, many women struggle with: trusting themselves. For years, we are taught to listen to everyone else, experts, family, friends, society. But very few people teach us to listen to ourselves. Because your intuition, that's not random. Your inner knowing exists for a reason. And when you start trusting it again, something amazing happens. And your life begins to align. You don't need a whole plan. And that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is thinking they need a full map before they begin. And trust me, that has been me many times over. But purpose doesn't work that way. And this is the lesson I learned. You're given the next step, not the whole staircase. So think about your own life. Some of the biggest turning points probably were not planned. They just happened because you said yes to something. A conversation, a risk, a moment of courage. Your calling, it unfolds the same way, step by step. A question I want you to ask yourself right now. I want you to sit with a simple question. Where in your life are you feeling a quiet pull? Where in your life are you feeling a quiet pull? Not pressure, not expectation, just a pull to do something different. Something keeps showing up in your thoughts. Maybe it's a dream you've put on hold. Maybe it's a direction you've been afraid to pursue. Maybe it's a change you know you need to make. But what if that pull isn't random? What if it's actually guidance? Have you ever sat and thought of all the opportunities that came to you and you said no? And now that you have the experience, you're wondering why you said no to those opportunities? Think of these as guidance, and maybe in the past you didn't take the guidance, but it's your life asking you to grow. Your calling isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are, more honest, more aligned, more outrageous and yes, sometimes uncomfortable, but growth always carries discomfort. The question isn't whether the path will be easy. It's a question of whether or not it will be meaningful. And I have a message for the women listening today. If you're listening and you feel that pull, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not behind, you're not lost, you're not imagining it. Something inside of you is waking up. Your life is expanding. And the fact that you feel the call at all means you are ready to start moving forward. Even if the step is small, even if the path is not clear. And let me tell you, if you expect the path to be clear, you've misjudged what you're going to do. And I want you to just go for it because the path will not be clear. Just take a step. Just take a step. If this episode spoke to you today, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. There are so many women quietly standing at the edge of their next chapter. They feel the pull, but they're afraid to move. Sometimes all someone needs is a reminder that their voice matters, that their calling matters, that their next step is worth taking. So until next time, trust that inner voice, honor the path that's unfolding in front of you, and keep unleashing your inner radiance.
When you are wondering what comes next, try to find your purpose when everyone has left. You gave them your all, and now It's time